lot of people like this fancy word, trading. I want to trade on the stock market. I want to trade and make money. I have bad news for you. Less than 5% of people make money trading on the stock market, including professionals on the Wall Street, in the New York Stock Exchange on Wall Street. They don't make money at the end of the day. A simple ETF, which just represents and mirrors the US stock market, over time delivers more returns than stock picking. So please play the long game. Don't try to make quick money. The stock market is not gambling. The stock market builds value over a long period of time. So if you are in the stock market, your mindset should be, listen, I want to be in this thing for 15, 20, 30 years, 40 years even. Play the long game. I feel blessed today. It's an awesome day to be alive. Hey, welcome back to the channel. Gustav B. Yachu here on the You Are Enough with Gustav B. Yachu channel. Listen, please do me this favor. If this is your first time on the channel, you are welcome. I'm happy to have you. On this channel, we talk about life, we talk about money, and we talk about legacies. My goal is very simple. It's to go past your mind, go past your thinking and your logic and all the previous conversations you've been taught to believe in, to teach you strategies on how to invest in yourselves. First of all, for growth, and then for profit, and in that process, to build a lasting legacy. So your name shall live in perpetuity. So on this program today, I just want to talk to you a little bit about something that is certainly causing a lot of ruckus, especially around America today. You know, with President Trump in power today comes a lot of good things, but comes a lot of challenges too. He is easily one of the most controversial presidents this country might have ever seen, right? And there are people on one side who love him to death, who can do anything for him. And there are people on the other side who hate him and who can do anything to make sure that he is not president of the US. But as a young immigrant, born and raised in Cameroon, been living in the US now for 2 decades, my goal is simply to be someone who can contribute positively to wherever I live, which has been the case over the last few decades I've been here. But most importantly too, to find out how I can get my own American dream from that big American dream cake, right? So in this process, people get panicked a lot about what is happening, what Trump has done, what Donald Trump hasn't done. The beautiful thing about America is that America is a country where every 4 years they have a new leader. What that means is that the processes and the systems and institutions are much stronger than an individual. So yes, President Trump might do a few things. He might test the limits of the law. He might push the Congress. He might appoint and create a new arm of government called DOGE and appoint his billionaire friend on it to have them do all kinds of things in terms of saving money and trying to find out and bring down corruption to please his populace and the people who voted for him. But at the end of the day, there's only so much he can do. But for you sitting there, don't worry too much about the White House. Don't worry about who is in that White House. Worry first about your own house. How is your house doing? How is your finance doing? How is your life in general doing? How are you feeling about yourself? How are you feeling about the prospects of your life? Listen here, are you an ambitious first or second generation immigrant feeling stuck like you are doing everything by the rules, playing by the books, but you still feel behind on your purpose, your dreams, and your pocketbooks? My name is Gustav B. Achu. I'm a speaker, I'm an author, investor, and a legacy architect. I have created a private WhatsApp community just for people like you, driven individuals, ambitious, who want to discover their purpose, build serious wealth, and leave a lasting legacy. Inside that community, you will learn how to break free from frustration and underachievement. You will unlock your unique purpose, the design and clarity on the destiny that you have. You will grow wealth through smart investing strategies and leveraging the stock market, which is the #1 wealth building machine today. And you will build a legacy that matters for generations because it's not talk. You will get access to a powerful resource, real life strategies, and connect with others on that same journey. If you want to gain clarity and have a clear path to progress, then you know what? You have to tap in the link below and join the WhatsApp community today. Your breakthrough, your purpose, your wealth and legacy are awaiting you on the inside. So don't miss that moment. Join us. Today I want to talk to you about how to thrive in the Donald Trump economy. What are the things that you need to be doing now and continue to do to make sure that you come out a winner in this economy? The first one, you must stay invested in the stock market. The last few weeks, ever since Donald Trump took over, has been up and down, right? No stability. One week the stock market is rising, the next week is going down. But I can bet you, if you look at the stock market overall, you will notice that even though it's been swinging up and down, at the end of the day, it still had some good increase on it. What that tells you and me is that the most important thing is not trying to time the market to know when to invest and when not to invest, but it's time in the market. I want you to pay attention to what I just told you. Don't worry about timing the market. Timing the market means trying to decide, oh, I'm going to buy only when Donald Trump has been quiet for the last 2 weeks. No, it's about timing the market. It's about how much time your money spends invested in the market. So the number one thing you need to do, stay invested in the market. The second thing, play the long game. Don't be in a rush. A lot of people like this fancy word trading. I want to be a trader. I want to trade on the stock market. I want to trade and make money. I have bad news for you. Less than 5% of people make money trading on the stock market, including professionals on the Wall Street, in the New York Stock Exchange on Wall Street. They don't make money at the end of the day. A simple ETF, which just represents and mirrors the US stock market, over time delivers more returns than stock picking. I didn't say that. There are studies out there. You can go Google it and you'll see it, where they put professional stock traders and they went into a competition with a basic ETF and the ETF still came ahead of them. So please, play the long game. Don't try to make quick money. The stock market is not gambling. The stock market is not a quick trade in and out, make some money and you are good to go. No, the stock market builds value over a long period of time. So if you are in the stock market, your mindset should be, listen, I want to be in this thing for 15, 20, 30 years, 40 years even. My girls at 18, 16 and 13, I started investing and teaching them how to invest about 5 years ago. So by the time they get to 40, they would have been in the market at least 20 something years. Do you know what that is going to mean? That's the kind of thing I want us to understand. Play the long game. The third thing, consider additional diversification. What I mean by that is, generally, for those who have been following me, I generally advise people to invest more in ETFs and index funds, mostly ETFs, right? You can put a small percentage of your investments in individual stocks, but try as much as possible to invest mostly in ETFs. The reason why is because majority of people don't have the skills to manage individual stocks. Individual stocks are representation of individual companies, and it takes a lot of research and things like that to be able to know what these companies not only do, but see their balance sheets, financial things. It takes a certain skill and knowledge too. So in order to avoid putting yourself in that difficult situation, you're better off just investing in ETFs, right? For most people. So consider diversifying industry-wise. So you might be investing in an ETF like VUG, and by any means, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is just purely sharing my opinion. You are responsible for any moves you make with your money. I'm just sharing what I do and the things I think about, right? Take, for example, you could be invested in one ETF that is covering the technology industry. You want to make sure you diversify, also invest in maybe consumer staples. You want to invest in the energy industry. The reason why is because sometimes, as you know, the economy and the stock market can be cyclical. The technology industry can be up like it has been up the last maybe few years, but you want to also diversify so that in case something happens to the technology industry, you are not completely wiped out. You can also do not only industry diversification, but you can do sector diversification, right? You can also diversify into real estate investment trusts. You can also diversify into bonds, ETFs, so that way you have a lot more stability. And if you want to know exactly what percentages of investment I recommend, or I generally talk about for different age groups. For example, if you're in your 20s, how much should you invest in stocks? How much should you invest in ETFs? How much should you invest in bonds and things like that? If you're getting close to retirement, what are those percentages? I have an idea about that. If you book a call with me, which is I have a link down in the description section, just go ahead and book a call and we can discuss some of those things and we can figure out a way to give you direction on how best to leverage the stock market to build wealth and to be able to build a legacy. Now, the fourth way, if you want to thrive in this economy, control your expenses. This is usually easier said than done. It took me many years to get a mastery of this, right? Like most human beings, we are all emotional, and there is no country in the world that sells like America. They will use every means humanly possible to make you part with your money. The people who get a head start in this country, who move forward, who build wealth, have to find a way to delay gratification, have to find a way to resist spending money like there is no tomorrow. We live in a time today where the credit card debt is at the maximum in America. More than 1 trillion in credit card debt, more than any time in the history of this country. People are spending money they don't have. If you want to be able to thrive in this economy, make sure to cut your expenses, because when you cut down on your expenses, then you have a lot more money left over which you could use to invest. The fifth thing, you want to monitor interest rates. Of course, interest rates affects all the debts you are going to get, right? Interest rate is the difference between paying 100,000 more or less in mortgage over 30 years. Somebody who has a 4% interest and somebody who has a 5% interest, the difference in that over 30 years for a mortgage loan, for example, could be over hundreds of thousands of dollars. So interest rates are important. Tracking the interest rates, paying attention to when interest rates change can also help you make certain decisions about purchasing certain big cost items, like maybe a car, like maybe a house, or even refinancing a loan, right? So you want to pay attention to interest rates. The sixth thing to maximize and to be able to thrive in Trump's economy is maximize your tax savings. Listen, I never knew this secret about America until recently when I got to meet a man called Mr. Charles Joya. And by the way, this video today is sponsored by CHN Audit. CHN is actually a tax advisory and audit firm led by Mr. Charles Joya. What they do is they work with professionals to help them minimize their tax liability and increase money for them to use to invest in assets that can deliver long-term value and build wealth for them over time. The true secret of wealth in America is in the tax code. The tax code is where all the rich people, millionaires, billionaires, all really make their true money, because they find loopholes in the tax code that gives you legal reason to be able to deduct expenses from your income that can help you also minimize your taxes. And if you are interested in knowing more, I'll have a link in the description section. When you click on that link, get in contact with CHN Tax Advisory and talk to them and tell them you're coming from the You Are Enough channel, and they'll certainly treat you well. The seventh way to thrive in this economy: save more and invest even more. Savings is good, but trust me, savings rates over the last many years has been nothing. The maximum sometimes is 4%, 3% before inflation. By the time you take inflation out, it's probably about 2%. You want to save 6 months at least of an emergency fund. What that does is, in case of a loss of job, of illness in the family, or something catastrophic happens to the family that temporarily puts you or your family in a serious situation where nobody can have income, you have at least an emergency fund where you can tap into for 6 months. An emergency fund is an account where you put in living expenses, and these living expenses are supposed to be accessible at ease to you, but most importantly, you don't use it for nothing else unless there is a significant emergency. You need to understand that the power of the emergency fund is very critical, because things will always happen in life. Life is cyclical. Today you are going to be up, tomorrow you'll be down. Today you can have a great job, tomorrow you can get fired. Today you can be healthy, tomorrow you're sick. So it's always good to plan for those rainy days. For my friends who are listening to me and who are faith-based people, you know the story of the Bible, right? 7 years of abundance and 7 years of lack. Every time there is 7 to 10 years of abundance, know that a 7 to 10 years of lack might be coming. So you plan for that time, like the King David at that time planned, by saving a lot of grain in barns. So you want to save your own grain in your emergency fund. So the way you thrive in this economy, make sure to have a solid 6 months emergency fund. That is certainly, my friends, going to help you in times of difficulty. I don't know if you find value in what I do. I pray that this message gives you some value, gives you some hope, and gives you reason why you must invest in yourself for growth, invest in the stock market and other assets for profits, and most importantly, to build yourself, to build a lasting legacy. I pray that you continue to be a blessing to everybody who comes on your way. And until the next time, I will see you at the top. And if by any means you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, because 80% of you watching me every day haven't subscribed to this channel, do me that favor, please. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel. That is the best gift you can give me in this season, by subscribing to the channel. But most importantly, when you subscribe to the channel, anytime I have a new video, you'll be the first person to know about that. And you will be the first person to watch it and know exactly that it is out on the internet. I will see you next time. Bye for now.